Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of No Rules, Random Thoughts of a Swiftie. We're going to dive right in because I feel like I have a lot to say and I want to make sure I get it all through in time. Here's the deal. I love this lady. We're talking Taylor Swift, obviously. And I need to humble myself a bit, okay? And the best way to do that is to put myself on blast on the internet for everybody to see and hear, okay? So you can keep me humble. And one of the ways I'm going to do that is I'm going to admit when I've been judgy and wrong. And I've said this about Taylor Swift too. Like, I don't feel like anybody is above criticism or critique. And if she ever did anything that made me feel a certain type of way, like, I would say it, even though I love and worship the ground she works on. She does work, but also that she walks on. No, I feel like I need to let you guys know. You wouldn't know this because you didn't know me back then, but I would often say in my 20s very loudly about how I just did not get why people were emotionally invested in celebrities. I didn't get it. It was around the time of Michael Jackson dying and Robin Williams dying. And it's not that I'm rude or mean or extra cruel about like somebody dying, someone caring about it, but it was just a lot of talk for many years, and it was internet times are really popping off, and it was just kind of everywhere about people crying, bawling, having like really hard times processing what happened. And then it just kind of, I feel like, continued and snowballed a bit with the internet and celebrities being even more attainable and achievable and just kind of showing you like their behind the scenes. And, you know, a lot of celebrities, even like Taylor, were kind of more active on the internet at one point until it got to be a bad place to be. And so, yes, during my early 20s was very vocal about how I just didn't get it. And I was honestly kind of rude and condescending and just didn't conceptualize why people would care. Fast forward to being, well, now I'm 37, and even just in the last couple of years, but literally this past year, do you know how many times I got teary-eyed about this woman? There were no boohoo tears, but there were a lot of weepy, just like plucking it away from my eyeball moments about Taylor Swift, about a celebrity who I don't know and who she don't know me. And we got to talk about it. I feel like one of the reasons why I really like Taylor and her music is there is a level of authenticity that comes through. It doesn't feel generic, pop star stuff, like pop song stuff. There are some like very pop forward songs, but I've always felt like one of the things I loved about Taylor Swift is that she's kept an authenticity of her and her journey in her music. And you would think at some level that would be hard for us to relate to, especially as her stardom grew and grew and grew. But actually something about it like humanized her and like brought her back to this place of like, we could always kind of relate and understand, even if the situation that she is in is nothing that we'll ever truly understand, right? But like the themes are there. And so with that, I feel I have emotionally been invested in Taylor for a while, but nothing really prepared me for how I'm like actually getting a little misty-eyed right now just talking about it. This is so ridiculous. If past me saw me right now, she'd be like, you need to relax. You need to calm down. I missed my opportunity. As I've aged and as I've gone through big life things and I hear and see what she goes through and what she sings about, I feel this like connection, and I just can't always describe it or verbalize it. But, you know, I'll just give you an example. Meeting Travis and how that all took place and how a lot of it was very public and we don't know everything, but, you know, the storyline and the timeline of things, I feel like we have a good perspective on. Just her finding somebody that makes her so happy was at the MTV Movie Awards where she said you could hear him laughing and like just like the sound of his laughter would bring so much joy. I just love that she has joy and happiness in her life. Like, we all know the songs about Joe had years and years of blue and fights and breaking up and arguments, and like every relationship is going to have ups and downs. Nobody is perfect. But I also want to be honest that not every relationship needs to be the most dramatic up and down situation all the time. Actually, it's not very helpful. Like, I get people are different, and sometimes people get bored of something that's like too easy or too good. But honestly, relationships don't need to be that dramatic. She is in a different situation, of course, because she's in the spotlight and a celebrity. But yeah, just like the fact that she has someone that makes her happy and actually brings joy into her life literally will make me get misty-eyed. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to Matt, my husband, about Taylor Swift, because before this podcast, he was my only outlet to talk to about all of my thoughts. And I remember when Tortured Poets Department, the anthology, came out and I heard the prophecy, I actually cried on that one, because I was like, right before she found this great love, she was so convinced that it was written, predetermined for her, that she would never have this. And then it just happens, and I don't know, it makes me so emotional and so happy for her. And I'm just gonna tell you, there's like 1,000 other things that I think about for her that I really, really love and appreciate. Like, even her having this break in between the Eras Tour and whatever her next project is makes me emotional for her, because she deserves it. Taylor Swift deserves so much. She's such a good person. You can just tell, we don't like know her personally, but there's enough things in life and enough clues and enough signs to know that she has a good heart. She has good intentions. Does she do everything right every time? No, but none of us do. So like, I just think as a person, to be such a good one and to want something so much, like a good, healthy relationship, and to feel like she has that now of somebody who brings her a lot of happiness and joy. You look at Taylor Swift at award shows, she's just vibing. She's happy. She's having a good time. And actually, I remember when they went to Coachella together thinking, this girl is so in love. Oh my God, it's sick. I'm actually getting emotional. No. So anyways, Taylor Swift makes me emotional just because I think about her life and I think how happy I am for her and how much she deserves, and all this amazingness really comes from those really hard, depressing, down moments, because this is what it's kind of that ricochet, right? It's really low and then it gets really high. And then I think that's another thing, is that I kind of relate to having a great love. My husband and I have been together for 12 years. I love him like more every day. I'm so obsessed with him. He's my best friend. And I really love, and I love that people find that in others. So, oh gosh, this is a very emotional, like almost weepy episode, but this is my thought about Taylor Swift. My random thought of the day is that I'm very happy for her. I am emotionally invested, and like, look, I don't want to, knock on wood, I don't want to like say this, but I just need to, because this is the ethos of why this episode exists, is that I thought about if Taylor Swift were to pass away. And I literally was like, no, I'll be inconsolable. I'll be so emotional. I would just cry and cry and cry. And then it took me back to younger me, very sassy, extra younger me, who was like, oh, who would ever cry over a celebrity? That was me. And this is me now. And I would absolutely lose it. I think I told Matt once, I said, if one of her cats die, I will actually be inconsolable for her, because that's how emotionally invested I am. It's so weird, you guys. I know, like, this is just one of those things that, like, I'm sure I've watched Miss Americana. I know that she kind of feels strange sometimes about how intense we can be about this stuff. And when the pendulum swings and it becomes people writing petitions for her to break up with her boyfriend, this is like, the pendulum kind of goes a little too far one way and it also goes too far the other. I'm always trying to find balance and just be like a somewhat normal fan. But there are just times when I am so happy for her. And I think with artists, and you can confirm if you feel this way, but like when artists give you so much, actors that you love and they've made you laugh for years. I think about Jim Carrey, like one of my favorite actors of all time. And you think about how like hard life is for them sometimes. It does just make you so sad because they don't even know how much they've given you in your life. And yeah, you just are like, it's sometimes the people who are able to communicate those things in such a heartfelt way and like reach you, that's tend to struggle a lot too. So yeah, being an artist is not always the easiest. I am very appreciative of everything she's given us and will continue to give, I'm sure. Like, I just want her to be happy. If it's music, if it's more directorial debuts, like a movie, I would be so happy to support. If it's getting married, having children, if it's taking a break, like, I just want the lady to be happy, okay? Come on, Taylor Swift, be happy, girl. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to tell me all of your random Taylor Swift thoughts, and if you have any thoughts about this episode specifically, please feel free to send an email to norulesswiftiepod@gmail.com. You can find me obviously on the interwebs at norulesswiftiepod. And if you like actually this podcast, would you please consider on Apple or on Spotify, wherever you're listening, to like give it a rating and a review, because I have a feeling that a lot of people would really, really love a dedicated Taylor Swift podcast, if they only knew it existed. And sometimes you just don't get seen without other people taking the time to push through your content. So anything you can do, I would be very appreciative. Either way, I'm going to be back next week with more random Taylor Swift thoughts. Thank you so much.